our Senate. Most states have a Senate and a House, the same as the federal government, but they all operate a little differently. Our government operates on a 2-year period. We're one of the only 2 states that do that anymore. Most are 4 years. But everybody runs for re-election every 2 years. So, they're in the middle of their session, excuse me. So they went home in May, they'll come back in January, and they can still consider the bills that were introduced last year. Okay. So we're halfway through the session. Now this room looks like 1859 because it is. All these desks were here. All the lighting fixtures, including sconces, these were all gasoliers. They're all original. A pretty neat, beautiful hand-carved podium. The little stools up front here, every year 30 Vermont 8th graders come and work here as pages. So they'll go back to school at the end of the month and they'll find out if they're coming to the State House in January. The other thing I'll mention both here and in the House, this is not just the senator's desk. It's his or her office. They have no other workspace. Oh, okay. This is it. Okay. So the desks look like this now. They won't for long after they get back in session. Paper, paper, paper. Nothing electronic in here at all. Bookkeeping only. So it's all voice. Every bill is on paper. All the stamps will come out to tell you where the bill is going next. So yeah, it's still, yeah. Now the public gallery, back up top and in the back here, public's welcome in anytime when they're in session and listen, hear what's going on. Can't talk in here, but you can stand out there and meet your senator when he goes out to lunch. Then you can talk. 30. They are elected by county and they sit by county. Okay. Now, Burlington is our largest city, 40,000. And Burlington is in Chittenden County. This is Chittenden County. Okay. 6 out of 30 because of population. Mm-hmm. And they're on their way to 7. 30 doesn't change. Mm-hmm. So if they have to pick up one, somebody else has to lose one.
Okay. Okay.
But that's a lot of. Governor in the 50s. Mm-hmm. So she was, her party thought she should be governor and run for governor. And apparently she said, it's not our time yet. She was very popular. I think she would have won. Oh, the big chamber.
To jest kumpel drzewa, normalerweise.
Schau dir die schöne Liste an.
That chandelier is something. It's the only one designed for Vermont. Our crest is in the relief form in the base.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, it was just all the sconces and all the chandeliers were all done by one company.
Was ist ein Crest?
So this is the house, and again, all of these fixtures were gasoliers, the sconces, the chandelier, all here, but with gas running through them. Right now we have 150 representatives, but for 200 years of our history, we had 246 until 1970. every town, we have 246 towns, we still do, 246 towns. Every town got a representative.
Okay.
Didn't matter your population. If you had 40,000 people, you got one.
Okay.
If you had 70 people, you got one. So it took us till 1970 to, that's not fair. So we chose 150, which has nothing to do with Vermont. But now each representative is here for 4,000 people.
Okay.
So the town I live in gets together with 2 other towns, and the 3 of us make 4,000.
Okay.
So we get 1 rep for the 3 of us. But Burlington, who has 40,000, they can get 10 reps. Big difference. Big difference. And they sit, in the Senate, they sit by county. Here, it's just, the longer you've been here, you choose your seat the first. That's
Okay.
about it. So it's not by party, it's not by anything, but you know, these guys have been around for a while, been reelected over and over. Those back there, maybe this is their first time they were elected. The 30 seats
Yes.
for the Senate.
Okay,
The governor
that's
might
when- okay.
comes in at least twice a year for the budget and the State of the Union
Okay.
kind of thing, speech, so the Senate has their own
Okay.
seating. Now that portrait of George Washington, that hung in the second State House.
Okay.
Oh.
It's one of the few things that was saved from the fire that destroyed that building. So it's, 4 men came up during the fire to get it out of here. So, yeah. So sometimes the cow's in back of the trees, and sometimes the sheaves are all together, or then, till the Civil War. No, we're gonna stop here, and this is where this will go. So now we know exactly where. But it was, that was designed by Ira Allen,
Oh, okay.
and he chose the motto too. Ethan Allen was the founder of Vermont. He came here when it was called the Wilderness. And so his brother chose the motto.
Okay.
And didn't his brother also found University of Vermont? Or he had something to do with it?
Oh, well, they all did, yes.
Oh.
They owned about half of Vermont, you know.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice land.
Yeah, yeah. They weren't just patriotic, they were into land.
You get your exercise, don't you?
Oh, I do. You see we call it the lotus blossom. So when I'm telling students about plaster and how it hardens into powder,
Yes.
and it hardens to cement. And so when we do school tours, we often have them seated on the floor right in front of the table there, and they're looking up.
Yeah.
Each of those petals is 500 pounds of
Yeah.
plaster.
Wow.
And then a 1,000-pound chandelier. So by
Yes.
this point, the 3rd graders are backing up.
Not on my hand.
Oh, actually, a couple of years ago, I came around the corner, the same as we did now. That was on the floor.
Really? How come?
Well, when I could breathe again. They can lower that to change the bulbs. There's a huge wheel up top
Yes.
and cables that you can lower that down. Oh, boy.
Is there an elevator close by?
I'm going to actually go across the way before we go to the elevator. Yeah, go across the way here. You'll be interested in this, I think. So, across the street, actually, the not very beautiful motor vehicles building, which
Yeah.
you're well aware of. You see the chimney in back.
Yes.
That's why we don't worry about a fire. Our furnace is over there.
Okay.
And it's a new furnace. So the old one These homes that are along the street, old Victorian homes, they're now Department of Agriculture. You know, we didn't tear them down, we just turned them into estate buildings. So all of this was heated by the old furnace, and they put a new one in 2 or 3 years ago. And now, downtown, City Hall, some of the stores, Union School, on this furnace. Do you know what our fuel is to heat all of these buildings?
I'm going to guess wood pellets or something like
Wood
that.
pellets.
Yep.
We burn wood. The old one was chips.
Okay.
This is pellets.
Yep.
Cleaner burning wood
Yeah.
than the chips. But we've got enough wood in this. I'm going to go into this room before I go into
Oh, I don't know where it was.
Look at this. Yeah. Well, when this building was built, this was the state library. 2 levels of books with a metal staircase. But about 40 years after it was built, an extension was added, the library got larger quarters. And this was turned into a reception room. And that's what it's been ever since. And it got its name, the Cedar Creek Room, from this painting. It's a painting of a battle that took place in Virginia, Cedar Creek, Virginia, during our Civil War. We found our history. We started with a revolution, and 80 years later we fall apart into 2 countries with a Civil War. I mean, this is... Anyway, we eventually came out of it. But, this was commissioned to be here. It was started in 1871 by a Vermont artist, Julian Scott, and he did something extra special. When he got the commission to do a painting to commemorate Vermont troops, he did more than that. He took hundreds of photographs of men who had been in the war. And then what he did was, look at your photograph and put your portrait in there. You know the 23 of these men, we have their photographs and their family history. So he's got it all laid out here, exactly where everybody was going. And this is a new exhibit, so we now have listed names of people. So there's real people in here. Yeah. He enlisted at the age of 15 as a drummer boy, and somewhere he gets drums in all of his paintings. He, on his application to join the Army, he under occupation, all of them said they were over 18, of course, most of them were. But under occupation, he put artist, and he was his whole life. He moved to New York, and actually was in New York. He finished this one down here. He wasn't an artist. He did a lot of portraits, and he loved to do paintings about the Civil War.
There it is.
But come on down here, because it's the picture. He did the same thing here, but this is a copy of one of his photographs. Now this man's all set for battle. He's in his uniform. He's going to be on a horse in a picture. He's in an artist studio, so he's sitting on a railing. But he'll be in a painting. But this is what he did quite often, pose people. But this is new. It was purchased by Howard Dean. It was in New York City. They owned it, and he thought we should buy it.
Oh.
So we did. So that's when it arrived here. Now, this room, it was the library that first opened, and those skylights were here to give some light to a dark room. This is not light from the dome because there's no light in there now. But this is on the roof of this west wing. there's other plane skylights that let the light in here. But this was, room after room, we brought it up to what it should look like. And this room was done in the 90s. By that time, this room had drop ceiling, you know, the little things with little cardboard stuff. And fluorescent lighting, the walls were painted yellow. I'm saying I think the official name was yellow. Anyway. There was nothing else. So this is pinholes. Yeah. I've seen pictures. I don't have any record of what they did. Where is this? But he and the custodian went up to the attic and looked all around up there. They found the glass. Oh no. In pieces. It took the company in Massachusetts 2 years to put them back together as a jigsaw puzzle.
So it's really
There, all the original glass is there with glue lines. You can see the glue lines.
But still, they restorated it.
Yes.
This is why the crest is still like the old version. The crest, like the cow is on
Yes,
the
yes,
side.
exactly. It was here when the building opened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful.
But that's, when people say, see, this is your first time here, but I've had older people say, well, I've been to the State House, I've seen it. Well, you haven't seen this room if you haven't been
Oh.
here since the 90s.
There you go.
You've
Right?
got to come back because you saw
It's amazing.
the mustard walls.
Yeah.
That's quite a, you know, the fact that it's all original pieces.
Yes.
It's just amazing. But you can see some blue lines beside her and stuff. It's just... That's Governor Gibbs. See, this is all military, but he's the only military man that became governor.
Ah. Oh, yes.
This is Admiral Dewey in uniform.
Yep.
He was born where the motor vehicles is. They took down his house in 19...
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, moved it.
I mean, I-
moved it down the end of the street, and then they just took that down in the 60s.
Ah.
Yeah, he was born right across the street.
Oh, I didn't, you know, I knew he was born here, but
His
not.
father was a doctor. They're the ones that founded National Life.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So one more stop. Next door.